Alright, so this is a video tutorial for HKS BIM+Programming plugin, which is the first part of a bigger effort which would enhance the digital integration of architectural programming information in our BIM-oriented practice. You can find the plugin under add-ins in HKS extensions under tools. This is the user interface of the plugin. In this screen you can see your program after creating it or importing it, and then you have some controls here which would let you to export these items from here to your Revit as mass elements or room elements, either as unplaced rooms or as placed rooms. So let's start with the program section here. You can either import a program which is compiled under HKS template, or create a list of spaces with their attributes if you don't have a program already. You can add a space and assign values to its attributes. For example, name test 1, then area, count, and then you can add it to your list. You can select it, you can delete it, edit it, or you can add another one. When you push on OK, that item is going to be added to your list here. When you click on it, you can see all the information here. Although you can create programs here, to use all the capabilities of this plugin, you need to import an HKS program here. So let me go ahead and delete this one and import an HKS program. When you push on import button here, this form will pop up which would ask you to introduce your program to it. Let me show you very briefly an HKS program that we are going to import. As you may know, all the items and rooms are categorized in HKS template for programming hierarchical setting. To learn more about it, you can go to our PDF tutorial, and there's a link that would take you to that. Let me go ahead and select it and then push open. The plugin will read the program, and in this progress bar you can see what the plugin is doing at the moment. The plugin will inform you wherever there is a format error in the program. The error message basically means that the plugin couldn't read the line and the item wasn't imported. After importing it, the plugin is going to synchronize the program with all the mass or room elements that you may have in your model. This is the first time that we are importing this program in this Revit project, so there is nothing there. As you can see here, now all the items are reorganized in this tree view, which we believe is more readable. When any item that you select here, you can have all the information of that here. So from here you can select the items and export them to your Revit project as mass elements or rooms. Logically, you would start from your departments and gradually move to items under them. But for the purpose of this video tutorial, we're just going to go ahead and select these items and create them. So I selected 5 items here, and then I'm gonna push mass. Before doing that, I can set up what level in my Revit project I want these mass elements to be created. I can also create a new one from here. If I push this button, another form will pop up, which I can create another level, and then the level is going to be added to the list. For example, level 3, and elevation would be, so now I have it here. Another thing, you can give the height of your mass elements that are going to be created. Automatically it would be the difference between the elevation of the level that you're creating it on and the next level, but you can change it manually. Okay, let's push mass. The plugin is going to go ahead and create mass elements in your Revit model, and all the programming information, it's going to be embedded in the mass elements as instance parameters. So now all the items here, they turn to green. As you may have noticed, here in front of every item we have 2 numbers. First number shows the number of the item that we have in our Revit project, and the second is the number that we are supposed to have. So now it is 1 out of 1. If you look at the other items that we haven't created yet, they are 0. If we create more than one that we need here, the green color here is going to turn to blue, and if we have less than what we should have, it's going to be red. So that's another way to keep track of the counts. Another thing that we can do here, if you click here, the plugin is going to stay on top, which is good to work with mass elements. So let's see what we have here. We have a 3D mass element. You can go to 3D views and look at them. We have square shaped mass elements that are tagged with their name, the design area, and the expected area, also the delta between them, which is now 0. If you select them and scroll down here, you can see what department they are from, and what section, what subsection, and all the programming information, and what is the expected area and everything. So you have all the information here now. You can select them and you can drag the sides, make them bigger or smaller. As you may have noticed, they all have a colored ring around them. The green color means that the area, the delta is in an acceptable range, meaning that the size of your room or section or any item from the program is in an acceptable range. If you make it too big, it's gonna turn to blue, and if you make it too small, it's gonna turn to red. So that's another way to keep track of it. So now you can start moving these items around and work on your planning. Obviously, not all the spaces that you may need, you may want them to be square shaped. So we have another shapes here. For example, we can turn them to U shapes. So all you need to do is to select it and then select the desired shape that you want them to turn to. For example, you can click on L shape. It's going to turn to an L shape mass element, or U shape. I'm just going to go ahead and change these two different shapes for the purpose of this demonstration. So whenever you're happy with your design at that phase, you can go ahead and turn these mass elements into walls and rooms. You can select all of them, and then if you push on this create button here, they're going to turn, all the sides of them are going to turn to walls, and there are going to be rooms placed inside them. Here you can select the wall that you want to use. And also another feature that this plugin has, it can automatically remove all the gaps and overlaps that you may have between your mass elements. So you don't need to manually align all the sides perfectly. Here we have a tolerance value, which any gap or overlap which is under that is going to be automatically removed. So let me go ahead and again you select them, and then you push on create. So now the plugin deleted all the mass elements, and instead of them it drew walls and put rooms inside those walls. So if we go to 3D view, you can see that it is now more like a real building. So let's zoom in, see what we have here. We have the name, the expected area, and the design area. You can continue working with them and continue your design, and if you select each of them and again scroll down on your properties window, you can see all the same elements here. You can also access the information from the schedules. For if you go to room schedules, you can see a lot of information here, which you can export them to an Excel file or anything else that you can do with your schedules. You can also import the items as unplaced rooms in your Revit project if you don't want to work with mass elements or this feature here. So there are also some additional controls here, and there is another feature which I'm not going to cover in this video tutorial because I'm trying to keep it short, which is grossing factor manager. To learn more about that, you can go to our PDF tutorial, it's explained there, or contact me. Thank you so much.